boys, I'm back! Yes. I have now had new vocal surgery, and this is Mac hosting the Waffle. Right, guys? You got me. It's Chris, hosting the 11 o'clock Waffle for the second season in a row, making kind of a habit of this. And we have a very interesting episode for you today, with the two hosts, two guests being on. It promises to have more drama than a farmer chasing a llama from Botswana to Ghana. So let's get cracking. First of all, the guy we all love to take questions from. Now, I call the shots and he has to answer. So let's hope he can actually win an episode for the first time. Seriously. The man who runs this show has never actually won an episode of the show when he's been on as a guest. Can he improve on that record? It's Mak Forsyth.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, Mac. To be fair, you did nearly win last time, so I shouldn't be too harsh.
I think that the judging was a lot fairer last time than the previous guest host we've had on.
Oh, I couldn't think who you mean when you say previous guest host.
I'm contesting this. I was very fair.
Almost as fair as Helen of Troy. Moving on to the person who is unbeaten since winning season 3 and will be hoping to continue that streak. It's Emma Preuss.
Hello. I'm glad to be on the show, and I'm excited to be trying out a show with different hosts.
Yeah, I guess this is the first time you've been on with a guest host. You feeling confident that you can keep your unbeaten run going?
I've no idea. I just go on the show, say some things, and hope for the best.
It usually works, to be fair. And lastly, and a guest under some pressure, because if she doesn't win today, then she probably won't make the final, but in order to win today, she will have to beat her star-crossed lover. Has she got the guts and determination to do such a dastardly thing? It's Lucy Ahmed.
Hello. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
Yes. Well, when was the last time you were on? Last time, you lost to Steve Gibbard, who is turning out to be the top dog of this series. And I never thought I'd say that. Who honestly saw Steve Gibbard as being the leader at the moment? Who saw that? I didn't see that. I don't think Steve saw that.
Steve was quite confident actually. He's been in training and all sorts, like Rocky montage.
Well, yeah, but James Miller is confident, and where does that get him?
Yeah, but James Miller's been confident for 5 years.
And every time it ends up the same way. Alright, that's all our guests this evening. Let's crack on with question 1. Taylor Swift continues to, quotation marks, change the world. Apparently her latest act has seen iTunes reverse the decision to not pay artists for the first 3 months of its trial period music streaming app. However, it's then come to light that she herself has forced photographers to not use photos taken of her in their work ever at all, and have to sign ridiculous contracts. So I'm not quite jumping on the Taylor Swift bandwagon. Taylor Swift is awesome bandwagon just yet myself. That's just me. Maybe she'll be able to shake off these allegations. Anyway, other U-turns. Let's start with Mac.
Sepp Blatter has been FIFA president since 1998. In 2007 he said that he would do his term as president and then step down. In 2011 he stood for election again, won, and then said this will be his last spell in office. This year he stood for the presidency again, saying FIFA needed his leadership to guide it through the corruption crisis that has engulfed its reputation since his leadership. He won the election, then 5 days later announced he'd be stepping down at some point in the future. Now, he's apparently considering another U-turn and will stand at the re-election in the emergency vote he himself called. The guy is 79 years old. Only the Queen has clung on to power for longer.
So he's kind of, with that last one, U-turning on his U-turn.
Yeah, this guy's done more U-turns than roundabout.
He's just going round and round in circles now.
He's just going round in circles.
He's just like a spinning top of corruption.
It's like, I am associated with FIFA throughout this corruption crisis. In order to get clarity at FIFA, I must say I'm going and then not go because I don't think there's anyone else that can do a better job than me.
It's the sort of thing that makes Tony Blair seem honest, doesn't it?
I think Tony Blair's actually going to run for it.
Do think that he keeps saying, no, I'm going to retire, it'll be fine. And then he thinks, but I could do with another house. And actually, I could do with another car as well. And it just keeps going on.
It's kind of like Fagin in Oliver Twist with the I think I'd better think it out again song. It's just like, well, I could do no. Right, Emma, you turn.
Hey, I'm going to do Russell Brand, who was very vehement about people not voting. And then suddenly decided that everyone should vote Labour, which is quite a serious U-turn.
The fact is, actually, he first of all was supporting the Green Party. Then you turned on that and then said Labour.
Yeah.
His book itself was a U-turn, though, because he brought this book out that was all about not buying stuff. But to read it, you had to buy it. So really, the only way to support his book would be to steal it from the shops. And then somehow Russell Brand would say, I don't wish to press charges because my book's actually saying, let's bring capitalism down.
But didn't
does
he,
quite
after the
like
election,
that.
didn't he after the election come out and say, oh, actually, it probably wasn't a good idea to go with them in a band? And you think...
he kind of realised that was a big old sinking ship.
Yeah.
Having said, oh, I should support it, he kind of watched it glug downwards and kind of went, oh, that, no. Maybe not. Let's not support that.
Oh, did I say Ed? Oh, I meant David. David Miller Band we should get behind.
Which would be pretty difficult, seeing as he's not even an MP anymore. Yeah. Okay, Lucy.
So I've got Stephen Hawking, who has gone back on his beliefs about the creation of the universe. He initially was very much with the idea that God created the Big Bang, but around sort of 92, he kind of went back on that. And then more recently, he's like elaborated on the reasons why he believes that the Big Bang was a physics phenomenon and not God creating life. So he's completely sort of U-turned on his whole belief system and how he believed the Big Bang sort of theory came about in the first place.
See, now the problem with Stephen Hawking is it's not that any of the claims he's made, but the fact is now, because of comic relief, the first thing I think of with Stephen Hawking, I immediately think Little Britain. And that can't be good for his reputation.
Also, Transformers Stephen Hawking.
Was terrifying.
It
and
was
wonderful.
terrible. Yeah. It's just interesting that he was a man of God, and he also believed, obviously, very much in science. But these two things have obviously been very conflicting for him over the years, and now he's come to this sort of final conclusion for him personally, that he believes it was very much sort of the laws of physics and gravity and all kinds of different things that created the Big Bang, and God was not a part of that mix for him personally.
He said that one of the things he likes about science is the fact that it's always moving. And he actually has a series of framed bets with various other scientists.
Yeah, he does.
And where they've wagered against various theories being proved or disproved. And he's got a whole line of them. Basically, as science develops, he either earns or loses money.
That's all very interesting. Lucy, there is a bonus point available to you if you can tell me who played Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything.
It's a film I've not seen, but it's Eddie Redmayne.
Yay! Bonus
I want to
point.
see it though. It looks a really good film. I want to see it. So yeah.
Apparently it's so good that at one point Stephen Hawking thought that the person playing Stephen Hawking was actually himself. So
Wow. Okay.
that's quite a high compliment.
That's
I
amazing.
thought you were
That's
going to
good.
say that he got up and gave him a standing ovation at the end of the film.
Oh, Mac.
Minus points for poor taste, Mac. You started so well. Dear me. Right, let's move on as quickly as we can. The first fine has been handed out to a white van driver for hogging the middle lane whilst the slow lane remained free. So what fines would you like to see handed out? Now, before I go on to anywhere, how long do you have to be hogging the middle lane to get this fine? I'm wondering. Is like 2 seconds enough to get a fine?
I think it's more to do with if you're driving along at 60 in the middle lane and there is plenty of space in the left lane and you don't make any effort to go over.
Okay.
I don't think it's about amount of time. I think it's about nuisance caused.
Right, let's have Emma start this time. What fines would you like to see handed out?
I had to think about this and the sort of things that annoy me because obviously, if I have the power to give out fines, I'm going to use it, for my own gain. But actually, one of the things that annoys me most is people, it would be quite a hard one to enforce, I'll admit this, but it's people who treat people that they believe are beneath them like crap. So I would have fines for people who are horrible to waiters or bar staff or shop assistants. I would fine them for being dicks because I'm a very firm believer that life's a slippery slope, and if you treat people crap when you're at the top, if you ever fall back down, then karma's going to come and get you. There's no excuse for it, and it's something that really bugs me, so I'd happily fine people for that.
As a shop assistant, I heartily approve of that answer.
Can I just say, Lucy and I can testify that Emma is a big fan of waitresses and supporting them in their jobs.
They're not going to let this one die.
I don't know this one.
She kind of flirted with the waitress to get the dessert that she wanted.
I noticed this is the sundae on the set menu, but I want banana sundae.
This is not true.
This happened.
I just very politely asked if they might let me have the dessert I wanted, and then these two accused me of flirting.
You were just putting in the effort that you needed to get that dessert.
Dessert is important.
Dessert is important. Right. Lucy, fines.
Okay, so mine one is kind of helping people in such a way, but I want to fine overplaying of popular songs on the radio. So I want to find the radio stations. Now, it's because, one, I have to listen to the radio every day at work, and Taylor Swift is on a loop. That and Pharrell Williams. And it's annoying. But also, I'm there's new artists out there that are being missed, that are being ignored on the radio, and it means that they don't get the airtime or the chance to become more popular and sell their records and actually make a living from their craft. So, yeah, I want to find the radio stations who only play Taylor Swift on a loop for 5 hours straight.
It's true, and it's also quite annoying when these radio stations go, "Oh, we don't do replays. We never replayed hits." I'm like, "You totally did.
Yeah.
This song has been on twice in the last hour, and you're playing it again."
Whereas if you listen to Heart, whose tagline is more music variety, and then they play the same 30 songs all day.
Right, Mac. Some strong answers to contend with.
Pretty much anyone who declares 50 Shades of Grey literature.
Ooh.
No, it's Twilight fan fiction.
In a couple of years, we'll have something come out that is a fan fiction in 50 Shades.
Yeah, we already have. It's called Grey.
Only it'll be I don't know, army-based or something like that. There'll be some sort of thin veil to try and cover it up. Question 3. The BBC is trying out a mind control handset to be used with its iPlayer app, which sounds a bit disturbing to me. I'm not sure how ethical that is. But anyway, let's look at the other entertainment advances from history, which people didn't think would catch on, but did. And we'll start with Emma. Again. Right.
Mine's going to be remote shopping. Of course, there's the rise of Amazon and various other online shopping things. And in Time magazine in 1966, there's this wonderful quote, which is, "Remote shopping, while entirely feasible, will flop because women like to get out of the house, to handle merchandise, and like to be able to change their minds."
You have my answer!
Oh!
It's fine, I have other answers, it's okay.
Uh-oh.
What?
Me and Lucy have a hive mind, apparently. And honestly, I could say that we came to the same answer completely separately.
That's trippy, man. Mac.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm going to hold my hands up and say the iPod. I had an MP3 when I was younger, and then my dad got me an iPod for my birthday, and I really didn't see the point why I needed two separate music devices. Then my OCD kicked in at how I could search by artist, album, or genre, and the amount of music you could store on an iPod is ridiculous. It allows you to experience whatever mood you're in, and right now that mood is Enrique Iglesias.
Oh God.
Addicted on a Loop, 4 different versions.
Yeah, I prefer Gabriel Iglesias, but he's more a comedian than a musician. And Lucy.
Okay, so I do have some backup answers. To be honest, a lot of the entertainment things that we use now regularly were considered to be like ridiculous and not necessary. Like a TV, like TV in the home was considered unnecessary. Colour TV was like, well, no, you don't need that. You've got black and white, it's fine. iPads, home computers, they believe, like, I think it was about 1959, they decided that computing had got to the point where you weren't going to get beyond that. And there was scientists who were saying about home computers, and everyone was like, well, no, computer's so huge, you can't fit it into your house. You're never going to get to that point. And now everyone goes around with little laptops and PCs in the house, which is just the norm.
We're sat here on our laptops.
Yeah.
And on the table next to me, I've got a tablet. I can see a phone. We're surrounded by it.
A lot of tech that was considered that was not going to work. Home computing was the big one, though. They thought that wasn't going to be any point to that. No one was going to want a computer in their house.
I'd say within a foot of me, I've got a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, and a smartphone.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And an
We're surrounded by
MP3.
it. We are surrounded by it. The tablet one I found really funny. I can really clearly remember my brother talking about how tablets were ridiculous and how they'd never catch on. And I can remember this precise conversation with him saying that, oh, it's pointless though, because why have something that's not as good as a laptop but not as portable as a phone? And now look, they're everywhere.
That is kind of my main problem with tablets as well, or like iPads, because you can't fit it in your pocket. They're not really sort of something you can have on your lap as easily as a laptop, because you have to sort of bend over. So I don't know. They do sell, but I was a bit skeptical when they came out. So right, we've got to the end of question 3, which means it's time for the scores. At the back, it's Mac, because it rhymes and because of his shocking comments about Stephen Hawking. You bad. On second, just ahead, it's Emma, but carving out a useful lead early on and needing it to get to have any chance of getting to the final, it's Lucy with 10.
Yeah! Come on!
Still to play for, Lucy. Don't get too ahead of yourself.
No, I know. I'm just happy that I'm, giving some good answers. Lots of research has happened, so I'm happy.
Good. Excellent. On to question 4. Mr. Holmes is in cinemas and sees Ian McKellen play the detective in his 90s. But which other characters would you be interested in seeing in their later years? And we'll start with Lucy.
Okay, first of all, I have seen the film. It's amazing. Everyone should go and watch it. It's a beautiful film, and Ian McKellen does a fantastic job. But yeah, I'm going to look at sort of TV kind of things. One of the ones that I thought about, which would be quite interesting, because I know it's become quite irrelevant at the moment and quite a few people don't like it, is The Simpsons. Now, I think some of the best episodes have been where they've aged up the characters and dealt with some other issues. And I think it would be amazing if they actually aged some of the characters now and we actually saw them mature into kind of adults like Bart and Lisa and Homer and Marge and their relationship. Because I think, okay, it's great that it's comforting that you can go back to an odd episode and they're still the same and they're still doing exactly the same thing. But it's also become very boring and safe. And aging the characters would just give them an extra opportunity to, take it in a new direction. And I think make the show relevant again.
Excellent. Give that woman a job on the Simpsons board.
Yeah.
Okay. Mac.
So yes, I've got a few ideas for this one. I mean, anybody in Game of Thrones, it'd be nice to see, them get to live a couple of years at least. Later this year, we're going to get Han Solo, which I'm a little bit apprehensive about because Han Solo was roguish and he was hip and he was cool, and now he's old and he broke his leg trying to get out of his own ship, which is a bit of a worry.
I don't think they'll have that bit in the film. I'm hoping they won't.
But in
Didn't you
terms
also
of,
crash a plane recently?
No, he didn't crash a plane. The plane had an engine failure, and he did a textbook emergency landing without any engines onto a golf course.
That was it.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of characters I'd like to see sort of in the cinema old, I mean, I think Batman's actually quite an interesting one. There's an animated Batman where it's him and he's like in his sort of 50s and he comes back out of retirement to try and save Gotham again. And he's really sort of at the end of his, he's not got the fight left in him. He's easily overpowered by a couple of the enemies he comes up against. And it's going to be really interesting what they do with Ben Affleck's Batman when they bring him in. And whether this is Batman sort of towards the end of his time, or whether this is him sort of like in the middle. He's going to come back, and they're going to do a load of Batman films with Ben Affleck, and sort of just sort of do the same thing again. So I think with the Batman character, there's a lot of scope to sort of show an older side of it and see how he's changed. Is he more dependent on the gadgets? Has he learned that there's different ways to solving issues?
I like him being older and like struggling with technology.
There's definitely something about hero characters and aging which would be interesting to see on screen, and how they deal with physical changes and also mental ability.
You're talking about Batman's interesting because even the last film of the Dark Knight ones is starting towards that, because he's not as young in that. He's obviously not at the end of his career quite, but they comment on the fact that he's not healing as easily, he's finding it harder, he's not as fit. I think it is quite interesting, isn't it? Because normally superheroes kind of just keep going, and they have to be amazing and able to do all these things. But a lot of people are finding now that what's interesting in superheroes is looking at their weaknesses. It's why I personally find Superman a bit dull, is because he doesn't have many weaknesses, and that's not that interesting to me. Whereas people who have flaws and foibles that we can relate to are actually more interesting.
Okay, Emma.
I spent quite a long time thinking about this one because a lot of the things that I like because they sort of capture a moment of time, and I don't know whether I'd want to see those characters older. One that I was quite interested in would be his Dark Materials, because the whole point of a lot of that is it's about coming of age, and it's about the sort of losing sort of innocence and sort of automatic things that you get from youth, and about, I don't know, the whole end of it is about sort of things lost and things gained with age. And I think it would be interesting to go back to those characters and see what they've actually done with their lives after kind of getting a lot of the sort of free passes you get in your youth. The sort of good luck and like first opportunities to do things. And then the whole point at the end is that she's lost an important skill that she has in the book. And it's suggested that with time she can relearn it. And I'd be curious to see whether she actually went back and took the time to do that and to learn the things that she didn't do first time round. I'd quite like to see that.
And an example of when maybe we wouldn't have wanted to see characters in the later years, the Harry Potter epilogue.
Oh. That shouldn't know.
That was
Albus Severus Potter.
Awful.
Why?
Awful.
There was no need.
Or, to go back and actually do it well. Not just, and everyone got married and had lots of kids named after other characters.
Look, there's Draco and his son, Scorpio. Scorpio! Question 5. Partick Thistle have unveiled a truly terrifying new mascot called Kingsley. Have you all seen this mascot?
Yes, it's terrifying.
What is it trying to be?
When there's just adverts and there's like bacteria and germs in your toilet? He looks like one of those.
It just is awful because I know all mascots are just men in a suit, but it was like the body of it was literally just a yellow sort of pair of trousers, and then the top half is like spiky. And I was like, this is the worst put together costume. Not only does it look awful, but it's been sewn together by a child.
And it looks so angry. Like, it's got a face of rage.
It's really spiky.
That's not what a thistle looks like.
That's not how you thistle.
It looks like an angry sun about to burn down all
Burn your eyes out.
Yeah. Don't look at the sun. Don't look at it. Moving on from Kingsley and his terrifying nature, give me tales of other mascots. Mac.
So back in 2001, Freddie the Fox won the Mascot Grand National. However, it later turned out that the man inside Freddie was in fact Olympic 400-metre hurdler Matthew Douglas. Suspicions first arose when Freddie turned up in running spikes rather than the traditional oversized mascot suit. What was a bit of a shame really was Douglas did it to raise money for charity, but there was actually a betting ring involved in getting him into the suit so that he could win the race and they could claim all the money on the bets.
Controversial. Emma.
Mine is not exactly about a mascot doing something silly, but basically the discovery that getting a job working as a mascot can actually help a lot of autistic people. There was a man called Scott Bowen who basically created a sort of inflatable mascot suit. And it works by having a fan, and because of that it doesn't have to have loads of padding, so it's not to wear. But he discovered by accident that people who suffer on the autistic spectrum actually could work this job really well. They found it easier to interact with people because the suit by default kind of isolated them and made them feel safe and protected. But at the same time, it kind of created a wall between them and people and meant that they could actually do the job really well. They interacted with people, they were happy being out and about in crowd situations that they wouldn't normally because they had this extra layer of protection between themselves and the people around them. So this guy Scott Bowen decided he was going to try and make an effort to employ a lot of people who were really severely autistic and wouldn't normally be able to go out and work.
It's very interesting. I didn't know that at all. Pretty good. Lee.
Okay, so mine's just a funny one. It's a viral video that's been going around. It's Benny the Bull, who is the mascot for the Chicago Bulls, the NBA. And he basically saves a damsel in distress because she's caught on kiss cam with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is too busy on his phone, just kind of ignoring her. The camera goes back to him about 3 or 4 times, and eventually Benny comes over, pours a drink over his head, takes the woman, carries her off, and it turns out that they split in the end and all that kind of thing. But there's a few viral videos that have been staged, but this one was an actual real one. The boyfriend was just a bit of a dick. The mascot came in, saved the day. She seemed so happy, being carried off. It's kind of watched. But yeah, that's mine.
I have seen that video. It is rather amusing. The guy, seriously, it's like if it was one time, then maybe you'd be okay. But the fact that it's 3 or 4 times, and every time he's still on his phone.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I just think it's also really sweet that the mascot just sort of like steps in.
Excellent. Question 6. And possibly one of the bizarrest questions we've had on the Waffle. A French minister has urged people to stop buying Nutella as it damages the environment. Unlike all those, nuclear power stations that France happens to have. They're a minor thing. We don't need to worry about that. So, if we shouldn't put Nutella on toast, what should we put?
Well, my personal favourite is probably Marmite and cheese. Having already discussed how, Marmite is full of yeast and will probably kill you or something. But yeah, Marmite and cheese.
Marmite and cheese. Mac?
Route 1 is butter. You can't really go wrong with butter on toast. A little bit of knob on there and it just sort of slowly starts melting. My avant-garde choice, however, would be Philadelphia and green beans, which is actually surprisingly nice.
Fair enough. Lucy, what do you put on your toast?
I do like a good Welsh rabbit. Made really well. Cheesy, mustardy, it's got to be good. But for a sweet choice, lemon curd. I like a bit of lemon curd on my toast.
Lemon curd is good. Yes, we approve. I used to love lemon curd when I was a primary kid. I don't really have days, but always a good throwback. Right, let's have the scores. On 17 points each, it's Mac and Emma.
Woo!
And still just about ahead, on 19 points, it's Lucy.
Yeah!
For questions left to go, that true or false round could be very influential. Question 7, and a bit of a down here. The composer James Horner has died at 61 in a plane crash. And composer of some of the biggest movies of the past 20 years, Titanic, as just an example. So let's honour him by talking about which soundtrack of his is a must-listen. Lucy.
Braveheart. It's just beautiful and haunting, and as much as the film kind of annoys me, the music is beautiful. Just because of the nostalgic value, Jumanji soundtrack.
Ah,
It's just magical and, yeah, childhood.
Jumanji's a good film. Braveheart is very silly. There's a lot of silliness in Braveheart, particularly the fact that it's supposed to be about Scotland, but it's filmed in Ireland, and the main character is Australian.
But on the other hand, the music is just, I don't know, it gets me every time.
I just like King Edward. As evil as he's supposed to be, there's something funny about him just throwing someone out of a window.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, oh, that escalated quickly. Didn't see that one coming.
Unexpected defenestration.
Yes. Emma.
For the music, I might have to agree with Lucy and say Braveheart, but he was also responsible for the soundtrack to Aliens.
No!
Knew that was Max
Just
answer.
enough.
I knew that was Max's answer as well. I was hoping I was going first. No, I think it's brilliant because it's a film where the soundtrack is really integral to building the mood of the film. The music plays such a key part in building up all of the tension and creating the action in it. And without the soundtrack, it would be a much poorer movie.
Excellent answer. Mac.
So in 1979, Ridley Scott introduced a whole new fear to when one gets a stitch. In 1986, James Cameron took that fear and injected it with a healthy dose of adrenaline. I give you Alien, a film in which the alien template of Ripley's facehuggers, creepy androids and eerily silent locations adds a whole bunch of colonial marines and the Queen Xenomorph. James Horner's score for this movie is perfect. The opening and closing track echoes the eerie, creepy, sad science of space as shown in the first movie. Yet on the flip side of this, you have tracks such as Ripley's Rescue and Futile Escape, which are absolute belters. They grab you by the arm and drag you around, your heart pounding at the approaching countdown to destruction and the terror of the surrounding danger.
Excellent. Right, last question before the true or false round. There are calls to show Interstellar in schools as part of science lessons. So let's have a film which can be of a factual aid to children. And I'm going to make this a one-word answer, or just the film. Just say the film and that's it. And minus points if you say anything more. Let's keep it concise. Mac.
Saving Private
Emma.
Ryan.
Up.
Lucy.
Breaking the Code.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Am I going to lose points?
You can say more. It's fine. We've done the answer now.
It's basically a TV movie about Alan Turing, and it has Derek Jacobi as Alan Turing. As amazing as the Imitation Game is, this is kind of a bit more closer to the truth. I like bringing history to life, and I just think that, it's important.
Oh, I just realised we haven't done top movie and top film, top book even. So the top book is still Grey, but I've noticed that second is The Shepherd's Crown by Terry Pratchett. So clearly we all need to rush out and buy that, somehow get it to overtake Grey.
It annoys me that Grey has, broken all these records.
It doesn't say much for people.
Also in the top 10 is the new Harper Lee book, which looks interesting.
I'm really curious about that.
But I'm also very questioning the reason it's been released now.
And also top movie is Jurassic World. Have any of you seen it yet?
Yep.
No.
Mac, is it good? Is it worth going?
It's good. I have to agree with Joss Whedon about the characterization of the two main characters.
What did he say?
That they're massive gender stereotypes.
Right. I particularly like, actually, I don't know if any of you have seen this, but a lot of zookeepers are mimicking the sort of stuff
Yes, I've seen
that Chris Pratt does with the raptors. You've just got people doing all this hand stuff with walruses, and it looks hilarious. Yeah. So going into the true or false round, I will give the scores because it's very interesting. Just at the back, just on 24 points is Mac. However, on 25 points each is Emma and Lucy. It could not be closer.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so the true or false round. I'm sure you all know the rules by now. Either has to be completely true or completely false. You can't sort of mix and match because that's cheating. points. You get 3 to 1 points depending on how interesting your story is, and then if you can guess whether or not the others are true or false, you get more points as well. So let's see who can master this round. Okay, Mac, as you're behind, you get to pick the running order.
Okay, so I'll go for Lucy, myself, then Emma.
You had to think about who was last, didn't you? Even
No, I
though
thought if
there's
I
only-
went Emma, Lucy, me, then it would be Elm.
Oh, I see. It sounded like there's like the first person, the second person. Who's the third person on this 3-person show?
No, it's just I'm so exciting that I have to have, a lot of suspense built for
Have
me.
to have a lot of build-up. Okay, Lucy, your true or false story, please.
Is skull found locked in a buried box proof of werewolves? A farmer found a skull,
It sounds like...
and he now believes that he's going to turn into a werewolf, and that it's a proof of these mythical monster thingies. Yeah, werewolves.
Are you sure this isn't Chris Cutting's latest idea from the Tobacco Theatre Company? Because it sounds very much something like Chris Cutting would make.
Well, I have seen Chris this evening, so...
Okay. Is there a full moon? Let's find out. Mac.
3 Lions Fight Club. So
Okay.
England's football academy is apparently too boring for the players. It doesn't really encourage them to socialise. So they've liaised with Captain Wayne Rooney and a couple of the other senior players, and what they're going to do is they're going to add a bowling alley, a games arcade, and a boxing ring to promote bonding amongst the players.
Okay. And Emma.
People are flocking to see a sheep that looks like the Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
That's clearly Swindon.
Is there any story to that?
There's a sheep in Herefordshire that's got a face that looks like it's got a mask, and apparently it's drawing in huge crowds.
Interesting. This is not the first time that Emma's used a true or false story with sheep. I wonder if it's going to have the same outcome.
There's a theme.
There's a theme. Right. So, Lucy's story about the possible werewolf theory. Mac, do you think that's true or false?
I think that's false.
Okay. Emma, do
I
you
think
reckon...
it's weird enough to be true.
Okay. Interesting. Lucy, do you think that's true or false?
True.
Emma?
True.
Okay, both gone true there. And lastly, Emma's story about the sheep that could be a Phantom of the Opera.
Oh no, that was me that said true.
Hey?
Lucy's speaking for me! That was her that spoke, not me. But
I'm so confused.
Okay, I think both stories are true.
Oh right, so you think Emma's story is true as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mac, do you think Emma's story is true?
I think Emma's is true, yeah.
Okay. All going to be very interesting. Right. Lucy, werewolves, true or false?
Did you give your answer?
No, I didn't. But to be honest, you answered what I was going to say, so it's fine.
But has Chris got down what your answer is?
Chris,
I've
you
got-
didn't ask me whether I thought Max was true or not.
I thought I did. Emma, do you think Mac's story is true?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's all right then, because that's what I had.
I know, but it was Lucy that answered, not me.
I'm so confused.
Okay. Werewolves.
Yes,
Yes, true.
Oh, goodness. Right, okay.
There is a farmer who now believes he's going to become a werewolf because he found a skull of what looked a bit like a werewolf buried on his land somewhere, and people were telling him he's going to turn into one, and he's now trying to find out if he is or not.
Right, so 2 points to Emma. That's a bit of a twist. Okay, Mac, true or false?
So it's completely false. They actually decided to build
Oh.
the completely sociable golf course there, because nothing says bonding like spending time opposite sides of the golf course trying to find your ball.
Oh, so Mac has turned the tables there. That could be very interesting. Okay, so Emma, phantom sheep, True or false?
Phantom sheep is actually true. This was a news story.
Oh, wow.
Swindon.
No, it was Herefordshire.
Herefordshire, Mac.
Yeah, apparently the owner was very confused because it's a purebred sheep, so it shouldn't have a half black, half white face.
And yes, it does.
But yeah,
When you say crowds, how many people are actually coming to see the sheep?
Emma and Lucy.
Yeah.
I've been to see it at least 4 times now.
Okay, right. So we have the final scores, and it is incredibly interesting. On 28 points, it's Mac. On 29 points each, it's Emma and Lucy.
Oh, I thought Mac had got it then. Oh,
So we have a tie. Very interesting indeed.
what happens now?
Tiebreaker.
Right, tiebreaker question, and it's sadly going to have to be on the subject of grey. What is the current price from Waterstones for a copy of Grey by E.L. James? And this will go to whoever gets the closest numerical amount. Emma, how much do you think Grey costs at the moment?
Hardback or paperback?
Paperback.
$8.99.
Okay. Lucy?
$6.99.
I can hear some real thinking going on behind this.
$6.99.
Okay, Mac, just out of interest, how much do you think?
It depends. I mean, are we going to buy another book and then get the Grey for half price? Because that's what they do at Waterstones. So
This is just Grey on its own.
It's Grey on its own. I will go for $7.99.
Okay, I can reveal that Grey is currently selling at $3.99, and well done, Mac, guessing the original price. It was $7.99, but that means with the closest answer, Lucy gets the extra point and therefore wins with 30. Emma on 29, Mac on 28. I think that's one of the closest shows
God
we've
damn
done in
it.
a while. It's been a while since the tiebreak. It's been a while.
I remember reading somewhere that it'd been slashed, the price.
Ah, damn it. I saw a load of copies with stickers saying it was half price.
Ah.
Damn it. Of all the reasons not to win.
It's a cruel defeat. But very good. So Lucy has the vital win, which puts her in with the chance of making the final.
Whoop whoop! Yeah.
So I believe we're pretty much just over halfway through. So I think this is the start of our summer break. Is that right, Mac?
It is, but we shall be back with a 60s summer special at some point.
Groovy, baby. Sounds good. Do we know who's going to be on that?
Nobody's booked yet. I mean, we'll try and get Tash, fresh from her filming with Colin Firth on a 60s movie.
Yeah, absolutely. We want the gossip. Excellent. So that brings us to the end of a show with plenty of twists and turns, where we've talked about things like Nutella, mind control, and terrifying yellow mascots. But I'm afraid, until the 60s special that Mac speaks of, it's goodbye from everyone here. It's goodbye from Emma.
Bye. Why do
Goodbye
I get
from-
a pause?
It's goodbye from Mac.
For my name I don't know about.
It's goodbye from Mac.
Bye!
It's goodbye from this week's winner, Lucy.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.